He listed the names of the units: the 1st Azov Corps, the 7th Airborne Corps, the 38th Marine Brigade, the 93rd Mechanized Brigade. Each one had played its part in the coordinated assault. Each one had left its mark on history. But perhaps most important was his revelation that the prisoner exchange pool was growing. This meant Russia was not only losing ground, it was losing men alive. Soldiers captured, their morale broken, their confidence shattered, and it showed. Reports from the field revealed that Russian troops had gathered near the village of Verkhniokamka, massing tanks, tractors, recovery vehicles, and motorcycles. They had hoped to launch a surprise thrust toward Zolotarivka, but the plan collapsed instantly. Their every move had been watched by drones, their routes mapped out weeks in advance. The result was inevitable. Satellite imagery soon showed black burn marks where once there had been armored columns. Artillery craters scarred the ground. Abandoned vehicles lay scattered across the forest floor. Russia's attempt at momentum had not just stalled, it had imploded. And then came the counterblow. Azov forces and other brigades executed a textbook operation of cut and lock. Instead of rushing forward recklessly, they constricted the Russian salient, forcing the enemy into a pocket. Supply lines were severed, ammunition convoys destroyed, and evacuation routes closed. What was once a Russian advantage now became a death trap. In just a few days, Ukrainian forces eliminated 271 Russian soldiers, wounded over 100, and captured 13 more. They destroyed tanks, artillery systems, motorcycles, and armored vehicles. 6 settlements across Donetsk were cleared. For Russia, the cost of reopening those corridors had become almost impossible to bear. Perhaps the most chilling detail came from captured Russian soldiers themselves. According to their testimony, at least 70% of their assault groups never made it back. 70% wiped out in the forests and fields of Pokrovsk. That is not just a tactical failure. That is a catastrophe. And yet, despite the disaster, Russia continues to push. More than 110,000 troops have been funneled into this axis. Reinforcements keep arriving. Brigades from the 37th Motorized Rifle, divisions from the 68th Army Corps. Each wave sent into the grinder. Each wave broken against Ukrainian lines. Why? Because Moscow wants a victory to showcase. A political trophy to distract from the reality at home. But war does not bend to political calendars. War bends only to strategy, preparation, and willpower. And right now, it is Ukraine that holds those 3 cards. The Russian offensives in Donbas have repeatedly ended the same way. Shattered convoys, lost ground, broken morale. The analogy many are now using is that of arteries cut one by one, supply routes severed, movement strangled. The lifeblood of the offensive drained until nothing remains but scattered units retreating through forests, leaving behind their dead. The bigger picture is clear. Russia's plan for Pokrovsk has collapsed. The grand encirclement strategy has failed. Ukraine's counterattacks have pushed the lines back, liberated settlements, and turned what was once a threat into an opportunity. What makes this even more significant is the way Ukraine fought. Not reckless charges, not costly frontal assaults, but coordinated, methodical, and relentless. Drones marked targets. Artillery pinned down defenses. Infantry moved in only when victory was assured. Every gain was locked down before moving to the next. Every settlement recaptured was held, fortified, and turned into a foundation for the next advance. This is why the Russian losses are so devastating. They are not temporary. They are permanent. By August, reports confirmed that Ukraine had advanced as much as 23 kilometers in certain areas. That may not sound like much, but in the grinding trench warfare of Donbas, it is enormous. Every kilometer gained represents dozens of destroyed vehicles, hundreds of lost soldiers, and weeks of planning erased for Russia. And behind it all, there is one truth. Moscow underestimated Ukraine again. The myth of Russian momentum has crumbled. The myth of overwhelming numbers has been exposed. The reality is far different. A Russian army that cannot adapt, commanders who repeat the same mistakes, soldiers sent forward without proper support. And against them stands a Ukrainian force that is leaner, sharper, and deadlier than ever before. The battles of Pokrovsk and Debralia have already written their place in history. They are more than victories. They are turning points, evidence that Ukraine's strategy of attrition, coordination, and precision is working. Evidence that Russia's war machine, no matter how large, is bleeding out. For the men on the ground, the sound of burning tanks, the sight of drone swarms overhead, the knowledge that the enemy is collapsing, All of it fuels the will to fight. For the leaders in Kiev, these victories show the world that Ukraine will not only survive, but will endure. The war is far from over. More battles lie ahead. More sacrifices will be made. But in the forests of Donbas, on the broken roads of Pokrovsk, one thing has been proven beyond doubt. Russia's offensive has been stopped. Its plans shattered, its troops exhausted, and Ukraine is still standing. Stronger than ever.